So now let's see how to access a particular element or particular row or column from array, right? So before that, I just need to make another array, that is assume C, and that contains, for example, mm, two rows of 8 elements. Okay, so 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5 comma 6 comma 7 comma 8, and then we have to make it another row. For that, I'll just write over here 9 comma 10, sorry, 10 comma 11 comma 12 comma 13 14 15 and 16, right? And we also need to put everything inside the box bracket. So yeah, so now if I just print C, okay, we have to print like this, print C, and now you can see this is a 2 row 8 column matrix. And for example, if you wanna also know the shape of this matrix, so C dot shape, and yeah, you can see it is a 2 row 8 column matrix. And now if you assume, if you want to get a particular element from that matrix, for example, if you want to get this 7 from this matrix, so first of all we need to write the row. So I'll just write over here, get the specific element. So the syntax is actually, first of all we just need to write the row and then the column. So let me just write over here C, and in the box bracket we first of all need to write the row. So 7 is in the row 0, right? 0 and 1 obviously, so 0, and then the column name. So 1 2 3, obviously the number starts with 0, so I just count it from 0 0 1 2 3 4 5 and 6. So this is 0 comma 6 element, right? Now if I press enter, you can see it is saying that at that particular position the element is 7. Similarly, if I make it 1, then it will show 15, right? So yeah, it is showing 15. So in this way you can get a particular element. Now if you wanna get a specific row, so get a specific row, in that case you have to write like this C, and then in the box bracket the first thing is the row. Obviously we saw over here the first thing is row and the second one is column, right? So if you want to get all the rows, in that case you have to write colon, right? But before that I just need to separate the row and column. So the first this particular section is for row and this particular section is for column. So if you want to get all the rows, in that case you will use this colon. And if you want to get all the rows and columns as well, in that case if you need to write colon 2 times, because this is for all the rows and this is for all the columns, right? If you hit on this cell, you can see it is printing all the rows and all the columns. For example, if you want to get to if you want to print the first row, in that case you just need to write C0 and then all the columns, because we want all the columns of the first row, so it will print the first row with all the columns. Similarly, if you wanna print the all rows of this third column, like 3 and 11, if you want to print that particular columns, in that case we want all the rows, because there are 2 rows, and then the column which you want to print, for example we want this third column, so we'll just write over here 2, and then it will print 3 and 11, because you can see in the third column it is 3 and 11, right? So similarly, if you want to see multiple columns or multiple rows, in that case also obviously you need to use a box bracket. For example, if you want to print 3 4 5, this particular column, like third, fourth and fifth column, and all for all rows, so in that case you just need to write C in the box bracket. First of all we have to mention the rows, so we want all rows, right? And the second portion is for column, so we want only that third, fourth and fifth column. So we will use this box bracket, and here we will just write 2 comma 3 comma 4, right? So if I run this cell, it will print third, fourth and fifth column, 3 11 4 12 and 5 13, right? So in this way you can get a particular row and a particular column. So I'll just copy it from here and I'll just add one more cell, and there I'll just paste it and rename it column. Yeah, so in this way you can get a particular element, row or column. Now let's see how to change a particular element. One more thing, like before that, we wanna see one more way to know a particular row and column. That is the fancy way. I just write over that fancy way to to know a specific element, row or column, right? So that is nothing but you just need to, like, here we are writing where is that? Yeah, here we are writing a particular like the number of columns which we want, like second column, third column and fourth column. So we don't need to write every particular column manually if those columns are like in a way, so in a particular way. So for example, if the first one is the start index, and then the second one is end index, and the last one is the like a step size. For example, if you want all the rows, then you will just write one, and if you just want to skip one row, in that case, you need to write two, and so on, right? Step size. So let me just show you one thing. So for example, here from this particular matrix, we just want to print like 2 to 6. Okay, so we want 2, 4 and 6 column. Okay, so it should print 2 and 10, then 4 and 12, then 6 and 14. We want to skip one element in the way of that particular row, right? So we will just need to write C, and then because we want all the rows, so we will just need to write colon and then comma. Now we are into the column section. So here we just need to use the box bracket, and or you don't need to write box bracket as well. You just you can write it directly as well. So for example, we want 2, 4 and 6. So it starts with second column, right? So the position of the second column is 1. So first you can see the first of all we have to write the start index, so that is 1, right? And now we have to write the ending index. So here the end index is 6. So because we want to write the end index, so we will just write over here 6. Okay, now the step size, we want to skip one element, so we want to directly move to the second next element, right? So after 2 we want to move to the 4 and then 6, so we will just write over here 2. Okay, now if I run this cell, it is printing that thing. Okay, 2, 4, 6 and then 10, 12 and 14. So in this way you can print particular rows and columns. So this is kind of fancy way. And now let's make some changes. Like if you want to change a particular element from that array, so I'll just write over here print C as well, because we don't need to look upward every time. So here suppose we want to change this 14 with 20. So for that we have to first of all get that particular element. So we already saw that if you want to get a particular element, we just need to write the variable name and then the box bracket row and column. So we will just write over the C, and in the box bracket the row is 1, because the index of second row is 1, and then the index of particular column. So here the index of 14 is 0 1 2 3 0 1 2 3 4 5, so it is 5. And now let's make it 20. Okay, so it is equals to 20, and after that if I print C, you can see now this 14 has been changed with 20, right? And similarly, if you wanna change multiple elements, so in that case you can use this way. Like if you want to get a row and particular column, so we will use that kind of way. So for example, if you want to change this 3 and 11 with for 20 or 40, it's like 30 and 40. Okay, so we want to change this 3 and 11 with 30 and 40. So in that case we just need to write C, and that is, first of all, we want every rows, right? So we will use colon and then comma. Now we are into the column section, so we want this particular column. So this is actually 0 1 and 2, so this position of the index of that column is 2, right? So that is equals to, we want to change it with 30 and 40. Obviously if you make it a single number, it will change it with everyone. So if I print C, you can see the second column is now changed with 30 and 30, Now if you want multiple changes, so in that case you can use a box bracket, and in that first value is 30 and the second one is 40. So the first value will change with 30 and the second value of the second row will be changed with 40. So if I print C, now you can see the first one is 30 and the second one is 40. So in this way you can change the elements from a row and columns and all, right?